Always coming in hot, baby. That's my story of my life.
Well, I'll be honest with you, it's kind of weird being on the other side of it.
Blue jeans and bonfires, red barns and barbed wire. Rolling down that older road was the only life I'd known. Superstition sunrise, breaking dawn dancing in her eyes. Times like that I realize everything's gonna be alright.
Here with the Way Beyond the Music podcast, and I'm super excited to bring this series to you guys as we dive way beyond the music with exclusive artist interviews, industry professional interviews, tips, tricks, educational, teaching. We're going to pick a topic for each one of these episodes. It'll air Wednesday evenings at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we're going to dive into it, dissect it. We're going to get artist input, industry professional input. Man, if you are a Texas music lover, this show is for you. So make sure you tune in, share it, tell your friends, and subscribe. Help us spread the word, and stay tuned on Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time for Way Beyond the Music podcast. You guys are going to absolutely love this.
On behalf of the flight crew, thank you for flying with us and have a pleasant stay.
All right. Well, hey, welcome to Way Beyond the Music with Mark Sebby, and I have a very special guest tonight. Actually, I have two special guests. We'll talk about the first one that you can see right here. Miss Robin Lynn, the brand new owner of Kindred Spirit Radio, will be joining us. She is going to sit in and see what a live podcast is all about.
Yes, sir.
Yeah? Are you excited?
Super excited, or I wouldn't be here.
Yeah. But the star of the show and what we're doing this Way Beyond the Music podcast episode about will be the one and only Mr. Beautiful, Mr. Keegan Lucas, the man, the myth, the legend.
Not yet, but hopefully soon. How are you, sir? How are y'all? You look like you're having where is it nice weather out where you're at? Because you're outside.
It's a little chilly, actually, but it's so loud inside this dive bar that we're at that there's no way I can do the podcast from there.
That's
so
not a bad
I'm adapting. You know how we have to do it, Keegan. You know more than I know. In fact, the truth be known, Keegan has been a mentor and like an idol to me since I got in radio, because we all know that there's that. Hey, Keegan, come on. I know you got all that terrestrial experience and everything, but dude, what you guys did with Made in Texas Radio, which was an internet station, it's you guys were like pioneers, along with like, the old Tossum Radio, and we had a Radio Free Texas, and we had you guys, and then we got the newcomers like Robert Miguel with Uvalde Radio, and all these new people. And man, the internet thing is surging and emerging. And you ran that thing like a terrestrial. I mean, as a radio promoter, I had hell getting this guy to ever play any of my artists. He's like, no.
Were you too busy, sir? Were you too busy?
14-hour days every day. Yeah.
No.
Busy. Understand.
No, dude, he has an eclectic ear, and he knows what he wants, and he knows what his audience wants, and he's a professional. And
well, not everybody has that skill, sir. So that's awesome that you know how to do that.
Well, it's a tricky thing to do, because I feel like a lot of stations, the music directors, the people making the choices, they get in their own heads, and they only want to hear what they want to hear, and that's not what you're doing. You're selling a brand. You're selling, the Texas scene as what we were doing, and you had to think what people wanted to listen to. What was going to make them stay at your station just a little bit longer. And I thank you for the compliments, Mark, on that, because I worked really hard to make that happen with the station.
No, and I mean, like, I'll be honest with you, man, and there's different formats, and we're going to talk about that tonight, because I've got for you guys tonight. Keegan is an industry professional. He's not an artist, so this can be the other side of radio, as we call it, right?
Uh-oh.
Yeah. You didn't know I was going to open that can of worms. Yeah, baby.
I think I'm going to learn a lot tonight, aren't I? This is good.
Well, and I really wanted Robin here, Keegan, because you are somebody that I idolize in the radio industry. And it's for all your hard work and your accomplishments, man. And you've done amazing things, dude. And you've always held your integrity and you've been consistent. It was never like a personal thing. It was a professional thing. And that's why I have so much respect for you. And I wish a lot more artists, and coming from me being an artist in my background originally, before I came to this side of things, I wish more artists would recognize that, hey, man, these PDs aren't being dicks, dude. Listen to what they're saying. They're trying to help you.
Yeah, and that's all it was ever meant to be. I remember, 2 or 3 years. No, it was 2019. Old boy sent some music, and when I listened to it, it was not ready for radio. I knew where he was going. I knew what he wanted, and I responded back, because a lot of PDs out there, a lot of people that are in charge of stations, just flat don't respond. And I don't know about you, Mark, but that drives me nuts. It may take a couple of days, but I want to respond to every single one of the emails, and made it a point to do that. He didn't like my response.
I agree with you, man. I think you should have some feedback.
Well, I think if I was an artist, I just wouldn't want to be left hanging. I would just want, even if the truth was you don't fit my format, I just wouldn't want to be stuck in outer space. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the Texas music scene as a whole has such a great family mentality of helping everybody along the way, and really coming together when that's needed. And there are so many people behind the scenes that I talk to who are doing what Mark has been doing in kind of like a mentorship program, kind of helping to funnel them. Okay, this isn't working for you. Well, let's take a look at it. Let's change things up just a little bit. So I think sorry, I've got 2 screens going on here, so my ADD is kicking in. But I think that's an important thing and an important aspect that you don't find across the U.S., if that makes sense.
Absolutely, man. I mean, it's a very eclectic and unique scene. It's also very cliquish too, as we've all discovered. And everybody, and I'm not talking shit, man. I'm being real. There's a difference. I mean, like, I love everybody in this scene. Everybody has something to contribute. You can learn a lesson from everybody, from the best person to the worst person, to the guy that's only going to be here for 5 minutes and the guy that's going to be here for years. You can learn something from everybody along your journey. And I've learned a lot, dude. And it's come at a cost, man. It comes at a cost, man. But I want to talk about a couple of things. Because I know a little bit about you, not a lot. I mean, like, you and I've never been like best friends gone fishing. I'm really jealous of all your fishing pictures. In fact, I saw that one and I was like, that's the picture I'm putting on the thumbnail. Fuck him. Yeah, that's the one we're using. And yeah, you can cuss, Keegan. You could cuss too. And the reason I say fuck you is you never invited me fishing, man. We probably would have
called you. Wall over here. I can show you.
Oh, look, here it goes. Look, here it goes.
It's right over there. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I'm from Montana. Can I go fishing with you?
Well, come on. We go out of Matagorda.
Yeah, I can go.
Captain Green with Totally Texas Outdoors, man. He's been nailing them on the fish all week long, and really excited about getting it done down there. And
I lost you for a second, brother.
Oh. What about now? Am I back?
Yeah, you're back. I'm sorry.
Okay. No,
I can hear you now. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Hey, it's like that AT&T outage the other last week, right? Yeah. Everybody's cut off. Fuck.
Let me tell you, I want to thank Jarrett Ray Reddick, the Wilder Blue, Remy May, and Season Ammons. I had their albums in the car. I was on a 2.5-hour car ride when that happened, and I can't listen to Houston radio. AM/FM in Houston is just bad all the way around. And so I was lucky enough to have those albums in and just put them in, and they got me through the rest of the drive. It was a beautiful thing. Thank you, guys. Thank you for actually sending out albums.
Let me ask you real quick, what don't you like about Houston AM/FM? I'm just curious.
It is a lot of the same thing that's been going on forever. I grew up in Houston. I grew up listening to Houston radio. There are certain stations that I'm not going to name, but they've been doing the exact same thing for 30 years, almost to the minute. And it's the same delivery. It's the same corny jokes. It's the same canned laughter. There's no evolution. There's nothing new. There's nothing to draw me in. I heard that 20 years ago when I was a kid running around and we didn't have streaming phones. So there's not a draw. And I think too,
do they have the same staff? Is it the same staff there? Or do they have the same staff? Do they bring in new people, bring in new ideas?
Some of them. There's a shuffling that goes on in the Houston market where if somebody's not working somewhere, there's a good chance that they're going to get a gig at the station down the street. And it's going to be, they're going to do the same thing that they've been doing. So I can't listen to it. It breaks my heart.
Well, and Keegan, I'm gonna interject, man. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that a lot of those stations are corporately owned, and they get this like canned programming where it's all just coming from labels. So they're not playing like we are. Internet's total freedom, man. The reason I didn't do a terrestrial station, number one, I don't want the FCC up my ass telling me I can't say fucking shit. I mean, because that's freedom of speech, So, and my listeners know if they're tuning into one of my shows, I'm going to cuss. Do not let your kids listen to it. It's probably going to have some stuff that.
I just lost you. I got nothing. Ruh-roh. Can they hear me? Uh-oh. Am I running this bad boy now? We should tell some jokes, shouldn't we?
Holy man, were you telling jokes from me? Were you
I was thinking about it. I just on the other screen, I saw it pop over and I was like, oh, now I'm on.
Hey man, I mean, like literally, just so y'all know, if you look at the bottom of the screen, live from the Hideout 2 in Canyon Lake, Texas, on my hotspot. So Robin and I pop in and out. Keegan's going to take over because he's more experienced than I am, and he's trained me so many ways he doesn't even know. That it's so awesome to have you on the show. Thank you, dude. I appreciate it. I want you to talk to the artists that might be listening out there, and I'm talking about like guys like me that were brand new to radio. And you remember when I pushed my couple songs before I got into the back end and stepped off stage. And there was reasons for all my whys and what I did and why I did it. But I can remember like trying to push stuff out, my own promoter, because I never used a promoter. And I remember like, it was like, I thought I knew what I was doing. And then I sent the song out and I find out you have no fucking clue what the hell you're doing, dude. And these people don't like it. So what I wanted you to talk about a little bit was maybe some tips or tricks or advice that you could give brand new artists that are pushing their first songs to radio, best practices, things like that, man, because honestly, I have a lot of respect for your opinion on that.
The first thing I'm going to start with is don't be pushy. That's the most annoying thing. If you send me an email and then find my personal Facebook page, which I actually have locked down, and try and message me through that, and then message me through Instagram, and then try and call me, that's a little much. Don't do that. And it's happened more than a couple of times. And you know, let it sit for a couple of days. I know not everybody's like me. They don't take answering emails as a serious thing, but there is such a concept as oversaturation. And if you're emailing these people over and over again, they're going to see your email and they're not even going to open it. They're going to click delete and move on. And that's not what you want. All that being said, there is a place for radio promoters and finding the right one that matches what your goals are. That being said, I would suggest to any artist to put out goals. You know, I mean bigger things than, you know, I just want to play, I don't know, Green Hall. I just want to play Cactus Jacks. Make them bigger than that. Where do you want to go in 10 years? And how are you going to get there? Start making those plans and thinking it through. And you know, understand that program directors, music directors are getting, I still get them, about 50 emails a day with different music from artists, everybody from Lainey Wilson to the new Beyonce to Deanna Wheeler's stuff to Ken Fo's stuff. I get all of it in all my emails, and I got to go through and listen to them and decide, is this going somewhere? Is this you know, never going to see the light of day? I got to make those decisions. So patience is a virtue. I think that's the short of it. And you know, I got to circle back on one thing. You know, I said don't be pushy, and there is a limit. You know, don't oversaturate any PD. But I got to give Case Harden a mention here. I got emails from his radio promoter more than a couple of times, and I was on the fence about it. And he happened to just stop by the studio, and it was a kismet thing. Like, I wasn't necessarily supposed to be there. We do a lot of work from home. He had just played in Angleton, Texas, and was passing through on his way back up north to North Texas, true North Texas, the Panhandle. Anyway, he happened to stop by just to say hi. He didn't want anything other than to shake my hand. We had a good 15-minute conversation, and that little bit was able to bridge the gap that, you know, he might not have had otherwise. So there is something to stopping by and shaking people's hands. I hold that in high regard. You know, one of the rules I have for my Facebook page, I mentioned it's locked down, is I don't accept anybody as a friend unless I've shaken your hand or met you in public somehow.
That's exactly how I run my page. I'm exactly the same way. Did you say Case Harden?
I did say Case Harden.
I saw him a few months ago at Green Hall because I live relatively close, and I go there all the time by myself because that way I don't have to worry about whether anybody else is having fun or not. I can just go and be selfish and have my own fun. So I go alone, and I never even heard of him. And so I saw him, and I'm like, okay, this kid's kind of good. He's got some stage presence. And then after the show, I went over to the main artist because that's who I came for. But then I turned to him because he was running his own merch.
I heard, the last I heard was running his own merch table. You guys heard that, right? At home? You guys watching on the Facebook Live, YouTube, and where else is this? A couple of different spots. Y'all be sure and follow Texas Internet Radio across social media. Mark is doing a lot of good things for these artists. He's got a lot of different projects going on. So take a second, click the follow button whenever and wherever you see it on all the different outlets. He's got a scrolling thing here at the bottom of your screen. So be sure and check that out. And check out Texas Internet Radio. They've got some great events coming up there in the Canyon Lake area, I believe later this year. I don't have it in front of me at the moment, but I know he does a lot of great work for artists, and especially like our buddy Chuck Weimer. I got to say hi to Chuck Weimer, by the way, real quick. Chuck, man, hope you're doing all right. It's so good to follow you on social media and keep up with you guys. And speaking of all of that, I got to give a shout out to Ken Fo. They made the announcement earlier this afternoon, a couple hours ago, actually, Rico's not doing so well. He's not feeling well. So I want to send my thoughts and prayers to Rico and the boys of Kinfo. I hope you're feeling better, man. As somebody who's been on medication for a lifetime, type 1 diabetic, man, that stuff can get kind of spooky from time to time. So thank you. You guys, Kinfo, get better, man. And we hope to see you out and back on the road real soon. I know Mark and that end has frozen up, so I'm just kind of running the boat here. Should I tell my joke? I feel like I should tell my joke. Everybody should have one good joke that they go with. All right, so here it is. There's a mom, a dad, and a little boy, and they're at the zoo. They're walking around, they're seeing all the exhibits, and they're walking up the elephant exhibit. Sure enough, the little boy happens to notice that the elephant exhibit is just like his family. It's got a mama elephant, a daddy elephant, a little baby elephant. This is great. They're walking around. Hey, you came back.
Oh, man, I had to go pee real quick. We had to pee. Hey, but I got a cool surprise for you, and I saw you taking over for me, and I was telling Robin while we were down because AT&T sucks. I was telling Robin, I was like, hey, real quick, I was like, you got to understand when things like that happen, if you got a pro like this, he's going to carry your show for you and take care of your audience while you're having your little blip and blah. Do you know this guy?
I can't. It's kind of dark, but is that who am I
Drew
looking
Moreland?
at? Drew, buddy, what's going on, man?
Drew was up here just a minute ago, killing it, playing some of the stuff off of his new album. Yeah, we're gonna launch a podcast series for Robin here at the Hideout 2. It was the place that I cut my teeth at. I know you've cut your teeth. I literally cut mine, but
cut them off. Yeah.
I cut them off. Yeah, but Drew here, he actually he's cut his teeth everywhere.
I like hanging out here too. It's good people, man.
Yeah, man, it's a cool place. But I wanted to bring Drew on for a minute since he was here, and you've shown some love to Drew of the artists that I've worked. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, Drew is a tremendous artist.
So I thought it'd be cool to have him, because we never really got to do like a formal interview thing with his schedule, your schedule, my schedule, all that. So I thought it'd be cool for him to tell you about the new album that's coming out that I'll make sure that you get copies of course.
Blow your mind, folks.
Thank you for that. But Drew, I follow you on social media, so whenever you make your posts, I'm following and very much anticipating. You're a tremendous singer-songwriter, from the conversations we've had in studio, man. I love everything you do.
Thanks so much, man. Yeah, we've been working on this. It's a real honest album. I'm as proud of it as the first one we put out. It'll be the first full-length album we put out since 2018. It took long enough, so it'll be good.
Is there any one song on it that is kind of your favorite?
The opening track is my favorite to play right now. It's called Down in Alabama. And it's the first album I've done that has some songs that I'm not a co-writer on. And that's the only one that I'm not a co-writer on. It's a great track. And all the rest of them are just real solid tracks. A lot of people are saying track 3 called Sobriety is their favorite. And
Sobriety's good.
It's real good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the one that you got Robin on, actually.
That's a good one.
Yeah, he played it live earlier.
Yeah.
And, eventually Drew will be back. I know he'll be back because he hangs out here at this place all the time. This is where I get to
especially on a Wednesday night. It's very typical for me to be here.
Yeah, it's a cool place to do that at. But man, dude, like seriously, no bullshit, Keegan. This new album, dude, is gonna blow your fucking mind, dude.
Yeah.
I have no doubt, man. He's I hate to preserve he's a good dude, and he makes great music. And one of the songs, you're King there in New Braunfels, right?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Something along those lines. I'm paraphrasing incorrectly, I think.
It's King and Lukenbach, but I've since been kicked out. And we showed up at City Hall. There was some woman who had noise complaints against us and played a bunch of audio clips of my music, complaining about me specifically. So notorious, famous, whatever you want to call it. Infamous.
Yeah.
There is no bad press, right?
Yeah, there's no such thing as bad press. We're going to use it for promo, all the clips of her talking about us.
Too good, man. With the weather like this, are you going to be doing any more of those back porch concerts? we talked about a couple years ago?
We haven't done any lately. We did them during COVID because there was nothing going on. But right now, we've been touring the country, mostly Wyoming, Colorado, New Mexico, that kind of stuff. We play New Braunfels every now and then. I think our next show is March 16th, which is
right around the corner.
Patrick's Day weekend. And it'll be a good full band show, all packed out. But I'm really stoked about our album release party, which we don't have a location for yet. It might be here, which is going to be April 13.
Well, we can just go live.
We could go live with it too. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
And
I mean, we got a whole network of stations to support.
That'd be really awesome.
Yeah.
An online release party as well as like in person.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, dude, and like film the whole fucking thing, man.
Let's do it. But the album comes out on April 13th. So if anybody's watching, mark your calendars. Go online, hit the follow button on all the streaming platforms, and we're going to do it. You're going to love it.
Drew, how much are you spending time doing the Spotify thing?
I don't spend any time on it.
Okay. Well, I mean, utilizing it as a marketing tool for your movie.
Spotify is one of the things I try not to mess with. If you spend too much time on some promo is good, like if you pay Spotify for what is it called when you? I don't know.
Well, now they've got it, Keegan. If you haven't paid them, no. Okay, so you want the backstory?
Yeah.
Do you really want it?
Want it,
okay, because I have a friend that's inside in Spotify, and this is how I found out it was happening before it happened, and it still screwed me, even though I had a heads up. So Spotify, historically, when they got their start, you used to be able to hire these third-party companies to promote your song on there, right? And they had no problem with it because it brought attention to their brand. As their brand grew and grew and grew, like any corporation, and they started seeing a profit, they were like, well, wait a minute. Why aren't we doing this ourselves so we can make the money? Why are we letting all these other people that have nothing to do with our brand and don't pay our bills? Which, from a business perspective, I get it, right?
Right.
But what they did was they burned the people that brought them where they were at and told them, go fuck yourself. You can no longer do this, and if you do, we're going to pull your music.
That's why I've never promoted with a third party for Spotify. I've always promoted
organic.
All my other social medias point to Spotify, and I've wrote some articles about how to do that, but I've never promoted on Spotify directly. We might for this album now that Spotify is letting you promote through them, but I would never pay a third party because I don't want to get flagged. That's our bread and butter. We make decent money on that. A lot of people complain about it, but we do all right. And Spotify has a really good algorithm. If your music's good and the listeners that are in your market enjoy it, they're going to put it in front of them. I don't really worry about that much.
No, absolutely. And there's a whole nother thing to it, man. There is a purpose for everything, Keegan. And this is something that I do train from the ground up. I've come, I might have had a little misconception when I first started doing all this, and I'll be honest with that, on where my role was in all of this. But I've learned where my role is, and it's helping these brand new artists that are, and Drew's not brand new, so please don't think I'm talking about you. I'm not talking about Drew Moreland. I'm talking about people like Chuck Weimer that I started with.
Oh, that guy's killing it.
And he's killing it now. And if you talk to Chuck, he will tell you, hey, man, he was like, yeah, I'm not with Sebby anymore, but if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have learned what I learned and got where I got. And he got to the point where we had that discussion. It was a tough discussion because I love the Weimers.
Yeah.
And I believe in Chuck, man. And is he the best artist in the world? No, nobody's the best artist in the world. Everybody has something to contribute, and they're going to connect with a certain crowd, a certain niche, and they're going to have their fans. People, yeah. That's it, man. And there's something for everybody, and that's what's great about, especially the Texas music scene. There really is something for everybody. Yeah. There really is.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And I gotta ask something about this, Drew. You mentioned writing. Is writing articles or something? Where can we read these things?
Go ahead, repeat that question. I'm sorry, we had a little background noise. A motorcycle drove by. Imagine that.
This bar is real.
Oh no, it's a biker bar. Yeah.
Weird. No, you mentioned writing, and it sounded like you'd written an article or two. What's I don't know anything about that.
I posted some of it or I guess I posted online, but I wrote basically a dissertation on how I did all my social media promo to start out with. And I don't care if I get flagged on Instagram or Facebook, as long as it leverages into my Spotify. So I wrote how I did it. And if there's any artists who want to know, I don't really want to post that publicly necessarily, but I'd send it to anybody who wants to see what I did and how I did it. It took a lot of just man hours of clicking stupid stuff, but it worked out really well for me. And then I'm also writing a autobiography about some crazy stories I've done, and I posted some of that. They're wildly entertaining.
I can't imagine.
I probably witnessed a couple of these myself. I might have been there for a couple of them.
Sebby knows all the characters, and it's wildly entertaining. I'm about halfway through it, and I don't have any projected published date for that because I still have to finish the rest of the chapters. But it's my life, so I have the outline, and that'll be awesome too. Yeah.
How many chapters are you at so far?
I guess technically 5 because there's chapter 1, 2, 3.5, and 4. Mostly it's about getting kicked out of playing venues for doing nothing wrong. You know, the first chapter is how I got kicked out of Lukenbach, and that one's wild. Salacious, maybe is how I'd put it.
Well, hey, I want to do a little litmus test here because I really do, and this is full transparency, Keegan. One thing about me is I'm not scared to be honest with people, including people that are watching this show, people that are on this show, including you and Drew and Miss Robin here. But I'm going to put Miss Robin on the spot so I can go use the men's room real quick.
Okay.
And I'm going to have her up in the hot seat, and she's going to take my spot on my podcast because that's the best way to put her on the spot and see what she's got. How about that?
There you go.
Y'all good with that?
Yeah.
Just like 5 minutes or so?
Sounds good, yeah.
Yeah, and Drew, she's going to be with you.
All right, let's do it.
All right, take care of her, man. She's brand new. Don't be. Yeah,
Right,
Keegan,
Jared.
be nice.
All right. Well, you know, I've got something to ask.
You can tell me later. You can criticize later, but don't do it right now. Yeah.
I'm texting
All right.
now.
Y'all say hi to Miss Robin.
Hi to Miss Robin. Hi, Miss Robin.
All right, I'm here.
So you sing too?
Sorry?
You sing too?
I've never sung publicly, but I volunteer at Children's Hospital in the NICU holding babies in the middle of the night, so I sing to the babies.
I thought Drew mentioned you singing on his new album.
No, I don't. We just met tonight, actually.
Yeah.
I'm literally like
Maybe I've
flying.
had too much.
I'm flying blind right now. You know, I've never even been to this place before, but I'm not scared. It's just all new to me.
What is your goal with starting the new station that I am drawing a blank on at the moment?
No, that's okay. Well, that's all new to me too, actually. I grew up in San Diego and I was a cop there for 14 years. So I retired to Northwest Montana and did a horse ranch up there for a while. And then I came to Texas last July because I'm retired and I wanted to just live in Texas. My grandpa was born and raised here, but I'd never been here. So I landed here in July and I only knew 2 people in the whole state. But I wanted to be here. I really liked the people that I met. And so I bought a little trailer and parked it on somebody's land until I found a house and just started going to music venues. And then like I told you, I went to all these shows where I was by myself and I would grab my little phone, and I wasn't that annoying person that would be like obstructing everybody, but I would hold it real close to me and I would videotape because I was just proud of myself for going to these shows by myself where I didn't know a single soul, and not everybody can do that.
No,
so then I started making these reels for the artists just on my own. I didn't need anything from it.
And every artist needs that, by the way. Somebody filming, because most of the time we play and everybody's watching, have a great time, getting drunk, but nobody records it.
Well,
Yeah.
I appreciate that because I did it because I truly wanted to. I'm like, I'm finding good people like the Teague brothers I really liked, and I did a reel for them, and I can name off a dozen or more. But my point is, my very first concert I went alone, I was dancing. I don't drink anymore. I had to quit because. So anyways, to answer your question, I got contacted by somebody who saw my reels, and I wasn't doing it for likes like you. My lockdown on my Facebook page is just the people I know, like, you know, probably because of what I used to do too. But so I started making my reels public for the artists, and then I would tag them, and they started reaching out to me and then reposting my stuff. And they're like, wow, you're genuine. You're really trying to support us. I'm like, yeah, I'm getting nothing from it except the joy of knowing that they're getting more visibility from the 55-year-old lady in the front row that's, you know, doing my thing.
Oh, she can shake it too.
Oh, and I dance too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey,
Do
Keegan,
that tonight.
I know you can't see me, but you can hear me, right?
Did you like my
Absolutely.
Well,
dance?
listen, no. She took me to Junior Brown at
No, bring
Green
him
Hall.
around. You got to hear
I
this.
saw
It's a funny
that, yeah.
story. You got to hear this. It's good. Don't leave, Drew. Come here, buddy. This is super funny. I do have goals, but let's put that on hold. Tell him how.
Oh, look, man, this is like, hey, dude, this was not scripted.
No,
I
wait.
promise you, this is all just happening as it's happening. And those are always the best content.
Tell him how we met, sir.
Well, I'm not going to mention names. We're not going to.
I got to put a timeout real quick. Robin, I feel like while he's telling the story, you should be dancing behind him. I'm just saying. I'm throwing that out there.
Hey, don't encourage it, dude.
Yeah.
Sir, listen,
You don't know what you're getting yourself into. Your wife might get mad.
Yeah, you're gonna like this. My very first show I went to was Darrell Hall at the Majestic, which is kind of a bougie theater. And I was in the back row. There was a podium behind me, so I'm a courteous little butt shaker. And I just danced. It was me and Darrell, and he was singing to me. And these people had no idea I just drove 2,000 plus miles to a state where I don't know no one. It was hot in July. Holy moly, it was hot.
Welcome to Texas.
Right. And I was so proud of myself. Well, they came over and they offered the people that work there. They're like, "You're not even drunk." I'm like, "I know. I'm just happy." They offered me a job. Well, they didn't want me to be just the hospitality. They found out my previous career, and they offered me a job as a artist and event security officer. So then I did, major artists that would be at the Majestic, the Empire, and the SB. Did that for a while, along with my volunteering. And then this radio thing, somebody contacted me. He also has a station. I don't need to say his name. But he's like, "I see your reels, and I like how you support artists." So that didn't work out. And I ended up last Thursday night, right before I went to the hospital, I clicked on his podcast. I'm like, "Oh, he's talking about police practices. I know about that." So I start typing, I've never done this before in my life. I'm typing him. He picks it up and he's like, "Oh, she's got a good point." So we start interacting and I'm like, "I got to go to work, but you should have me as a co-host." I wasn't even planned, man. And then he's like, calls me out on it. So the next day we make a business meeting on the phone. And I'm like, "Man, I got to go. I'm going to Junior Brown, but I have an extra ticket. Do you want to go? And we can meet after and have business."
Lucky you.
Oh, dude, best show I've seen in a fucking decade, Keegan. Hands down.
I have, yeah.
Robin, do you often just buy spare tickets? Because this is something I need to put in my back pocket just in case.
Yeah. But hey,
No, I never have 2 tickets, but I dated a guy for like a month and then I said goodbye. So I had a free ticket. So it just worked out. So the first time I met him,
wait a minute. So I was your rebound show guy?
Because you're only relatively handsome.
Oh. No, that's a whole nother story.
You're not ugly.
I've never, exactly. No, I'll take it, Drew. I'll take it. But that was the comment I got. "You're kind of relatively handsome." I'm like,
well,
thank you, man. I've never had anyone tell me I'm relatively handsome. They're either I like you and yeah, we're cool, or go fuck yourself,
No, but sir, like I literally had only seen him on the podcast for like 15 minutes maybe.
Yeah.
Then 24 hours later, I'm standing in the front row of the ropes waiting for Mr. Brown to come up, and he comes up. I know nothing about him. I don't even stalk him on Facebook. I don't even know your resume. I don't know that you own anything other than what I saw for.
And you sure weren't told by the other person. Yeah.
And then so immediately I'm like, "I got to warn you, I dance." And I really dance. He's like, "Okay." Did I dance?
Oh my God. I mean, like, I'm trying to be a good Christian fella here,
Well, I'm sitting here right now, so I guess I must have done okay. But so my goal is to play what I like to hear. However, I'm going to bring you back to what you said when we started.
Let's just say this, folks. If there had been a poll, it would have been on.
Make that money. That's
too bad. She would have enough to fund a radio station for 10 years that night.
No, but sir,
and I'm going to tell you, man. Junior Brown's eyes were popping out of his skull. And I think his wife wanted to slap him a few times from back there playing her acoustic guitar.
No, you know what, sir? After the event, he's very gracious.
Just kidding, Junior.
He's very gracious to his people, and I've been watching him since 1989. And I went up and I said, "Hi, Mr. Brown." And he's like, "Hello, ma'am." And then I said, And then I said, "Would you do me a favor? Would you sign my granddaddy's?" Because I have his Sheriff's Rodeo belt buckle from like the 50s. And I took my belt buckle off, and he signed the back of my belt buckle.
He sure did. Awesome. He didn't hesitate, man. Very, very humble, very gracious dude. After he just put on the show that I've never seen the show. Honestly, man, I've never had my hair stand up as much as it did in that whole entire show. And thank you, Robin, for inviting me. That man made my hair stand up, dude, and I felt what he was doing the whole entire time he was doing it.
Sorry, I got confused for a second. I didn't know which show you were talking about, Mr. Brown or Robin.
Oh, no, not the Robin Lynn ass shaking show. I was talking about old Junior Brown.
Your hair was standing up.
Yeah, well, hair, yeah.
No, but you know what,
It's
sir?
bigger than the hair, I promise y'all.
It's even better though because I'm not drunk. Like I'm not sloppy. I cover my parts. So to be sexy and not drunk and have your parts covered.
Oh yeah, man. Because if we took the cameras
out of the game
right now. Whoa! Keegan, we might have to take Keegan off screen for a minute. You know, I mean,
Censored like the black bar.
Yeah. And his wife would be like, Keegan's never allowed to be on Sebby's podcast ever again.
But look, I'm covered up. I'm not even showing anything risque.
Yeah, me too. I'm covered too, Keegan. Just so you know.
Let's talk about you.
Yeah. Hey, man, real quick, dude. The whole point of this was 20 years in the music business as a radio PD, and for the last 20 minutes of this show, let's not talk about me and Drew and Robin. We're going to keep them with us, but I want you to tell us your story, your journey, and what it was like for you, and how you got your start in radio and everything, man. I really want to cover that part of the story. This is where we go way beyond the music.
Beyond the music, on the radio.
And the radio, yeah, because the music's on the radio, so you're fucked if you don't have that.
Yeah.
I want to learn from you, so please talk about you for a minute.
So my story is kind of long. I got into radio 20 years ago, of course, more than 20 years ago at Stephen F. Austin State University there in Nacogdoches. I somehow was decent enough to turn that into an internship with the local Clear Channel affiliate, Danny Merrill and Sean Erickson. They are still there, still rocking and rolling. I actually just saw Sean last week at a barbecue cook-off. Always good to see your mentors. But from there, I worked for a couple of years, worked through the major hurricanes Katrina and Rita that actually hit Lufkin at the time. So I got a lot of emergency management experience in doing all of that. From there, I took a job in Victoria, Texas, doing a morning show for just over a year. And then finally, it just got into me to, let's see what we can do in top 10 markets. So I up and packed my bags and moved back to Houston, where I'd grown up south of Houston, about 20 minutes, and started applying. And, like everybody, had to start as a promo kid. Hanging banners and shaking hands, but did that and worked.
You don't lie, you shook babies. We know you did it.
It was a rock station. It happens.
If women were shaking in front of you, you'd shake them a little bit, maybe.
Is she talking about shaking again? I'm sorry, I missed something.
And, hey, next time I'm going live so you can see what I'm talking about.
No, I appreciate that.
I'll show your wife. I don't want her hating on me, man. I got enough haters. I don't need any more. I mean, just tell her it's all in radio fun, honey. It's
all radio. Yeah, she gets it, especially when I was with ESPN for a while. I spent multiple years every Monday night football at a Hooters or a Twin Peaks. So she's okay with some of it. But when I moved back to Houston, I got a job working for actually one of the owners I work for now. He was running a cluster that included a rock station, a sports station, and a legacy top 40 station that's still on the air, and came on and part of the team that
Thank you.
Made ESPN Radio #1 in Houston, and learned a lot from my PD at the time, Dave Tepper, and ended up, a few years later, moving on and finding my role at RFC Media, where I eventually took over Made in Texas Radio. So I've done a lot in the industry, assistant chief engineer, promo kid, imaging director, music director, of course, program director. I've had just about every single title that you can have in radio, and done I like to say, a fairly decent job at it. And that kind of brings us up. Did they leave? Did they leave? Oh, I said shake it too much and she couldn't handle it. You know.
Oh no, man! Come on, dude. We had to mute the microphone for a minute. We were doing some secret business transactions behind the scene over here. We are at the Hideout. There's a reason they call it the Hideout. We hide out at the Hideout. You got to come down here, man. We want you. We want you here, Keegan, so we can corrupt your ass.
Meet you in person, sir.
I just want to point out, for when the camera came back, her hat was down. She was. I don't know what you guys were doing behind the scene. Yeah, there it goes. There it goes.
Hey, no. Her hat's down because I'm trying to break her on her cell phone thing.
I'm getting shy. I'm getting unshy. I'm not scared, but this is all kind of new to me, so I'm listening. I may be looking down, but I'm listening. I promise.
She can multitask. I don't want to disclose her past, but she can multitask. Yeah, no, she's a good multitasker. We know. I will hint around. We know when we see red and blue. We know that they can multitask.
Yeah, they can.
Red and blue.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago. That was 2012. So I've been a real I got a lobotomy and I'm normal again.
That'll do you.
Now, you were one of the good ones from the stories I'm hearing.
I was a good one.
Well, folks,
I cared.
I got to walk off the show in a second, but I'm playing near Houston on Friday, Richmond, Texas, just southwest of where you're at.
Okay.
Lone Star Bar is the name of it. This Friday, I think we go 9 to 1 or something like that. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Hey, Drew, thank you so much for hopping in here.
Thanks for having me, man.
No, dude, I know that you were one of the only artists that I promoted that he would play. So I wanted to make sure you said thank you.
What does that mean?
No, it's a good thing. We've already covered this. No, it is.
Like it
is a good thing because he taught me something. Yeah. Don't send me bullshit, Sebby. Yeah. Send me your good shit. Don't send me the new guys because our station, and that's okay. That is okay. It's okay for a station to say no. It is okay. And I want to educate artists that are out there listening to this. You can tell them it is okay. You don't get ugly. And Robin, you can attest to that. Tell them what happened to you.
Do you want to hear it real quick?
Yeah, real quick. No,
okay, real quick. Obviously, I'm new to this industry, but I'm not new to interpersonal skills. It's how I stayed alive. I learned how to read people, and I stayed alive, and I had a good career. So, anyways, now that I'm out there and my station's up and running, I'm starting, like you said, to get the emails and to get the inbox. And I've got my private email, Facebook, which is my name. And then I have my radio station, Kindred Spirits Radio. Well, 2 people yesterday sent me inbox messages, showing interest. And I said, well, can you send me something so I can listen to it? I'd be really happy to do that and decide whether I want to play it. So both artists sent, one just sent his Spotify stuff, which is fine. Another one sent 2 specifically. And I did not research either one of them. I want to hear it raw. Like, I literally don't want to know their background. I want to go into it cold. So then with all due respect, sir, I didn't listen to any of your music before I came here because I didn't want to know. And I really enjoyed it. It was wonderful. Anyways, the first artist, he sent me 2 songs. And they were both good. I actually liked the way he sounded, but the first one was just all about drinking beer and getting drunk, and it just didn't fit Kindred Spirit Radio. But the second song did. And so I sent back, just it was brief. I know women can talk too much, and I own that, but I know it's all business, and I know how to be all business and be brief. So I just said, okay, I listened to both. Let me give you what I think about what did it say? Constructive.
No, you said if you would like some feedback.
If you would like some feedback, that's what I said. And then
I saw the screenshot.
Yeah,
she sent them to me and said, what do you think about this?
Right. So he answers back, I've been in this industry for years. My words and music should speak for themselves. Have a nice life or something like that. And I'm like, okay.
Fuck you, dude. You'll never get played on my station.
Right. So I typed back. I was going to tell him one was good and I was going to play it. So I was just going to tell him the first one's good, but it doesn't fit my station. The second one I'll play. But because he was a jerk,
you can say a dick.
Because he was a dick.
You can say an asshole. You can say a
I'm like, sir.
Yeah, you can. We're not FCC regulated. That's the beauty of streaming and internet radio.
So I have like the litter box. So he goes in the litter box and I kick some sand on him and we're done. Like, even if you bring me the best thing now, you were a jerk. And then this young kid, he was good. And I put him on my Facebook page. He's like, yes, ma'am. Thank you for your time. He was brief. And I liked 2 of the songs. The other ones were a little rusty. I have a really good ear, and I think they're going to be better once maybe he gets more production. But I'm going to play those 2, and I'm going to play the heck out of him because he was respectful. He was nice. And I like
That
this
matters.
kid.
Well,
It
hey,
matters
hey,
so
no,
much.
production
So
quality is
that's
huge.
So even though I'm new, he doesn't know that I know Mark, the jerk, or the good guy. He doesn't know who I know, who I don't know. And I do know people, but I'm very humble. So you got to be careful not to burn your bridges as a new artist when you're reaching out to a program director. You don't know who they know, even if it's a new station. Does that make sense?
It'd be better not to respond at all than
Yes.
that.
Yeah, I know.
He told me basically have a nice life, and he
Well,
got stuck in the
all right,
box.
so let's reference this back.
Anyway,
After I
thank
did my
you.
research, she sent me a screenshot. I looked at what artist it was, and we're not going to mention names. We don't do that. It's irrelevant. It really is. But there's a lesson to be learned. The artist, Drew Moreland,
He's gotta
has got to go. Thank you, Drew.
Thank y'all. Thank you, Keegan.
Thank you, sir. It's always good to see you, man.
You too as well. I'm sure I'll be in at the station soon enough.
Look, she's dancing for you, Keegan.
Somebody tell Drew what happened.
If Drew plays one more of his sultry songs, she might do something else.
Tell your gal I said hi.
But so I looked at the artist after she sent me the screenshot, and I realized who the artist was. And this is one of those artists, and we all know a few of them,
Yeah.
that have been doing this forever, and they continuously spin their wheels because they don't realize they're the problem. They're not listening to the advice and the feedback they're getting, and therefore they'll never grow. And I told her, and I go, don't take it personal. Maybe one day this dude will break through it and he'll figure it out, And I go, he's one of those guys that he's been told this by many, many PDs, and that's his defense mechanism. Because, and I'll be honest, Keegan, I had a real, as a performing artist on stage and a songwriter, when I was doing this, there was a point in a time where I had to check myself, dude, because I thought I was better than I was, and I was nobody.
Well,
Nobody.
Robin, you hit on something there when you're talking about these responses to these artists and these emails that you're getting that I still get to even today about brand management. Ultimately, in the end, what you're doing is you're managing your brand. And if, Joe Bob with a guitar doesn't fit your brand, that's not their decision to make. That's your decision because it's your brand, just like it's their decision for their brand to put out whatever song or to click send on that email that may be interpreted as grossly inappropriate. And
You're so smart on that because, I'm program director and owner of this station, so I take pride of ownership, and I'll receive what I think I wouldn't mind putting my brand on or my name. And just to flip it this way, it'd be like an artist if they're full on country and then a rap channel grabbed their song and started playing the heck out of it on a rap channel. I'm not really sure they would like that because they don't really fit on that station. They'd rather be played in their genre, a lot of them. So this gentleman, it's too bad because, I'm new to the industry, but I'm not new to music. I've been listening for my entire life. I'm not saying I'm amazing, compared to the next guy, but I do bring something to the table. So for him to be so disrespectful, it was a great lesson for me. I really didn't take it personal. I just thought, oh, well, that's too bad. You're going to the litter box. And I moved on.
Well, but
Now, all that being said, as on the industry professional side, yes, we can remember that, but we also do have to be forgiving because we have to understand that there is a developmental phase for each and every artist, and we're all human, and we're going to make mistakes, and we're going to do stupid stuff. Now, if an artist makes a mistake like that and then later redeems themselves, I will give them one chance.
Do you have a standard like that too, where they burned you early on and then they come back later? Maybe they've grown up or they've had some life changes. Have you brought an artist back in?
Yes, I have. Absolutely. And
you've seen the growth, right?
Yes. Yeah. And at the same time, I should add in there, it's managing that knee-jerk reaction to not create a station just for you, but for the listener. And that was one of the characteristics for this particular artist who was rather insulting in what they did, but he made it a point to do what he did to try and rectify the situation. He did it enough that I put him back on the station, no problem. And he later had another number one. So,
Really?
in the scene. So, yeah, the ability to forgive is a big deal too. You're absolutely right.
Well, hey, before we get out of here, because we are on that end, I want you. Yeah, I want you. Well, yeah, you're counting it down. You're like, God damn it, Sebby, I'm tired of your show.
It's dancing time.
Yeah, it's Sebby, I'll go an extra 5 minutes if you let her dance. Yeah,
I'll make it 10.
Yeah, see what happens when you get with these big wigs, Robin.
And I'm sober.
Robin, yeah,
sober.
Yeah, she's in a. Yeah. And I seen what you've been drinking, so
But real
yeah.
quick,
Yeah.
I want to thank you for what you shared, because when somebody brought up this radio station thing, because they saw I obviously, was into music, doing my thing that I already talked about. There was that initial thing of, oh, good, I get to play whatever I want. And then I stopped and I went, no, you need to play what the mission statement of your station is. I want to play music. It's Kindred Spirit Radio that makes your spirit feel good. When you turn it on, it's like,
I can relate to this.
Yeah, music is medicine, and I'm your dealer. And I'm gonna deal up stuff for your ears that's gonna make you feel good.
That's her tagline.
Yeah, like I thought about that in my kitchen. I'm like, music is medicine, and I'm the dealer.
I will take an ounce.
Yeah. So what that means to me is I want to deal up stuff that just makes people feel good. It may not be the song that I'm gonna play 10 times, but I want people to feel good when they hear me. Would you all stay?
No,
I was just gonna say, I think we know what kind of officer she was when she was on the force, but that's
a good officer, dude.
I know.
I'm the bad citizen.
But thank you for bringing me back to point that I do need to keep an open mind to just play, like what you said, things that my listeners want to hear, in addition to things that make me feel good. I need to give up lots of drugs, not just one drug, right?
Well, it's not just that.
Bringing it back around. She just comes back around. I don't know.
It's the same thing, and I can relate to this as an artist and a songwriter too. One of the biggest things was when I started being more authentic, I started getting more recognition. And I think that if we're authentic and we're true and we're consistent to our brands, that we come across as more authentic, and people can feel that even in a live stream like this. I mean, as chaotic as this live stream and unplanned as it was, I feel, and I hope that the listeners feel, that it was kind of cool, man, because it wasn't scripted. And it was kind of off the cuff, dude. And it wasn't what you were expecting at all. You were expecting to only hear about Keegan Lucas and his journey, and then you had a brand new PD hop in, and you had Drew Moreland.
That's huge by itself, man.
I came here. Mark didn't even tell me who you were, so I'm like, I show up at whatever 7:30. He's like, oh yeah, there's going to be this guy on the podcast. I'm like, okay. And then he says, come on over, sit down. I'm like, okay. And then Drew Moreland, who I never even heard of, he comes and sits down. I'm like, okay. So what the people watching right now are seeing is the way it just played out. And I'm so glad I got to meet you, and I would love to connect with you and learn more from you. So,
but wait, there's more.
Okay.
Well, wait.
Real quick, because I see it count down, and I know you're jumpy. You mentioned something about audio quality before, and this is something I've helped a couple of folks out with. There is no reason to send to any radio station for any artist out there bad audio quality, and you know what it is. If you do the car test and play it in your car, and it sounds like there's a or any sort of background.
Quiet. It's not mastered.
You know
correctly.
what though, Keegan? I think they get so excited sometimes to send something out that they don't wait just that extra time to make sure it's good quality.
They don't know, Keegan. It's not intentional, dude. I can speak on some of these artists. Some of them know and they don't care. Some of them know and they don't care.
Well, if you're able to multi-track record a live set, you know enough to be able to master it out enough to where it at least sounds semi-legit. But some of the songs, I got to admit, some of the songs that I've gotten, and I've got more than a couple in my head, have had just the guitar blows out the vocals, You can't hear it's like trying to watch Saturday Night Live's live performances, man. There's just
And stop talking about those first songs I sent you when I first started doing this as a promoter. Damn it!
No, Mark, it wasn't you. It was I can't. It was such a bad thing. I didn't even remember the guy's name, but it wasn't you. I know that.
No, and I mean, like, I knew I was sending a lot of times. I know that I'm sending stuff to some of these people. They don't want to hear it, but as a promoter, I have to at least try, right? And once I try and I know I'm not going to get in, have you ever seen me be aggressive or pushing?
No, not at all. And I've always really appreciated that. There's a handful of folks that don't
play it. If you don't.
Yeah.
Because it's your fucking station.
But
at the end of the
sometimes you
day.
just got to shop around. Maybe he might not like it, but I will, or you will. You know, maybe you're just not a good fit. Doesn't mean it's a bad
not
song.
every song is a fit for every station.
Exactly.
So I'll tell you, there's one radio promoter who I used to get emails from, and he would be like, "Hey, what do you think about these songs?" And he'd send me every single one that he was promoting, and he was the only one who ever did this. And I sat there, and you know what? I went through every single one. Yeah, I'm playing that one. No, I'm not playing that one because it's too slow. I'm not playing this one because the can't hear the fiddle when you need to hear the fiddle. I broke it down and told him exactly why I wasn't playing what I wasn't playing. So, and I don't think enough program directors take the time to do that. But you know, that was part of the gig and part of answering emails that I mentioned before. That so many people just I think it's a pet peeve.
Question.
Yeah.
Okay, because I have obviously you've been doing this for a long time. Yesterday I have one example, one guy that sends 2 and one guy that sends his entire, there's probably a dozen songs. Now his time is valuable. He's a very busy man. I've known him a short time, but he's busy, and I can assume that you are as well. In your opinion, both of you, is there a sweet spot in songs that you prefer, like a certain number, or does it all depend when they send you?
I'm gonna let you answer that first, and then I'm gonna let my idol Keegan.
No, you don't have time to.
Hey, I'm not being facetious, dude. You have been a mentor to me, dude. Whether you realize it or not, and I've looked up to you and the way you do things.
Well, thank you.
Taught me a lot about this business, man. I appreciate everything you ever did for me, whether you knew it or not. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for that.
And before you answer that question, I want to extend an offer to you, because I know, with the Made in Texas thing and everything that's going, developments and everything, if you're ever wanting to do a show on any of the brands or stations that I'm on, you're more than welcome to get live on my radio station, do whatever the hell you want. I won't even ask you. Just tell me what time you want to do it.
Okay. I made a note.
When I was doing all the TV stuff, if you remember, you sent me so much content, dude. You were the bulk of my content on Texas Internet Music Television.
Well, I did that not for me. I did that for the artists. One of the things that I think helped grow the station, and maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, because ultimately the station failed in the end. But I never made it about me. It wasn't about me. It was always about the artist. It was always about their songs and their story and getting their, I don't know, their path out to the people. And I'm actually really proud of that aspect of what I did, because it was not about me. DJ, program directors, DJs, they come and go, but these artists, man, the music, especially in a digital age, will live forever. It will, you'll always be able to find it somewhere, be it on YouTube, social media, Apple Music, wherever. But, that's, where was I going with that?
The number of the sweet spot that you like to receive.
Oh, okay. To answer your question, Robin, sorry, maybe I had a little bit of this.
Away, but I'm glad that he did.
So I'll tell you this: when it comes to certain artists that I had developed relationships with, when they had sent me, like their full EP, 6 songs, I clicked through and listened to every single song, at least about a minute of it. I didn't always have time to listen to a full 6-minute song. I just didn't. For the radio promoters that send out 15 different artists' songs, you're going to have your names that are known, that you're going to click on. You're going to see the Bree Bagwells. You're going to see the John Wolfs. You're going to see the Randall Kings. And you're going to look at those and click on them and at least give them a listen. That being said, do you go through all 15 of them? Honestly, probably not. Are there the instances where you have time in the day to do that? Absolutely. And there were days where I would go through somebody's entire catalog of the new music they were pushing. Am I playing that one? Yeah, I'm playing that one. I don't need to listen to it. Let's go to the next one. Okay. This one's too slow. I'm going to pass on it and work my way through the list.
No, that makes complete sense to me because, and I will say this name, the kid that sent me the Spotify's kid, I'm older. So to me, young gentleman, his name's Adam Patrick. And after I gave him my songs I liked, I said, now you give me your top 2 that you would pick to represent you. And the top 2 that he picked were 2 that I had selected, and I'm like, okay, cool. We're on the same page. And I liked that.
And for somebody who's managing a brand, for somebody who's, I'm not familiar with that artist. I don't know his name, but I will tell you for a young artist like that, just getting out, for him to even get a response from you is going to set a positive note in his head for you and your brand. I did the same thing with a young man out of South Texas by the name of Garrett Talamontes. The young man, he was a junior in high school when he sent me his
Garrett Talamontes.
Okay.
Talamontes, a tremendous young man out of South Texas, a real cowboy, and he's in the 4-H. I'm probably getting it wrong. He's probably in the FFA, but anyway, he's a real bull rider. He rides bulls there in his high school, and his
dad is super involved in his career too, and his dad's a great man.
So he's a quality kid with a quality family, it sounds like.
Yeah, no, he really is.
He went out on a limb and just randomly sent this internet station based out of Houston, Texas, his song, Southland. And I heard it, and I was like, you know what? Production quality is there. The writing is there. The talent is there. That checks all my boxes. And I put it on, and I sent him back. And I was like, Garrett, man, I'm going to put this on, and you'll be able to hear it moving forward on Made in Texas Radio. I think at the time I was doing highlights, so I actually had a time for him to tune in and listen. And that makes AM/FM radio doesn't do that anymore. They don't answer the phone. They don't answer emails from listeners. It's just not happening because they don't have the staff to do it. So, and I do. I really think that makes a world of difference.
I really appreciate you answering that question. I do. What is your sweet spot, sir?
For me, my sweet spot is it's all about the relationship, really. And I bet Keegan will probably side with me on this. It's all about approach. It's all about having a little bit of humility and doing your research and understanding that, hey, this station might not pick my song up, but if they tell me no, I'm gonna take a step above, and I'm gonna be like, hey man, thank you. You know, one thing about you, Keegan, even the artists that you didn't play mine, you were always kind enough to give feedback. And I'm all about artist development. I can't help these guys and send them with the right thing to the right. And I'll give you a prime example, and I hope he doesn't hate me for saying this, and we're doing a little overtime. J.R. Herrera. I was like, bro, you've gotten all the feedback from everybody, and he was at this one studio, and I'm like, bro, just go change studios real quick. Let me go send you over here to this guy. And I'm like, it's working for Weimer. And he goes, I'm not Chuck Weimer. I go, I know you're not. You're J.R. Herrera. And I go, but go see that dude because his production quality's right. And dude, is J.R. not doing better?
Yeah. Same with Chuck. You're absolutely right.
And I didn't want him to go to Dave. I wanted him to go to Dylan first. That was my recommendation for the record. And Chuck will tell you that. And they made a decision, and I respected it because I love the Weimers. And it was time. It was time for him to fly the SMG nest. He had outgrown me, dude. He had. They took everything. Chuck was my best client, and I'll tell you why. He listened to everything I said. Him and Jamie did, and they took it to heart, and they did everything I told them to do, and it worked.
Yeah. And that is
all the things I did wrong as an artist that I told them, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, and you'll be okay. You know, it's like, take it from a guy that made all the mistakes because I didn't have my head right, you know, and I didn't realize what the big picture was.
Well, a lot of it is ego, and I know coming into this, like when I was new in my career, I was a stay-at-home mom when I became a police officer, and I was very trainable because I had a passion and desire to be there. So if you can take an open mind that wants to learn, I look.
Oh, she just gave up her pass, y'all. We didn't talk about it.
It's okay. I don't care.
14 years San Diego police.
Yeah.
Thank you for your service.
So thank you. So I was a stay-at-home mom who just wanted to learn, and I was the best candidate because you could fill my brain as an agency. Just help me be safe, and I will serve your citizens. I was so proud. And coming into this industry, it's the same transferable skill. I'm looking at anybody with more time on than me, and I can learn something. Even the ones I don't like, I can still learn from them. And so there's a respect thing too. When I was an officer, if someone had a day on more than me, I respected that they knew a day more than me. And so I really, really appreciate both of you sitting down with me and helping me, you know, as I'm popping my cherry here.
Yeah, we're popping that dancer's cherry, Keegan.
She brought it back around again. She just keeps doing it.
That's it.
I have to watch what I say sometimes, but thank you very much for letting me sit here
and thank you for the overtime. We're about 10 minutes over, so we're gonna wrap this up. But before we get out of here, man,
sir.
I want you to share. Yep. You have more hair than me. That's not cool.
Yeah, but look how gray it is. Look at that. I don't like it. Part of my head. That's a lot of gray.
It's time to bring out the Buc-ee's tumbler.
And my not so non-alcoholic drink is expired. Yeah, yours.
That doesn't happen.
Thank you for your time, Keegan. It was a pleasure to meet you.
Before we get out of here, man, I want you to share one last little tidbit, and I want you to really think before, you know, of course, you respond, which I know you're really good at doing. So if you need a moment, please take one before we end the podcast. But I want you to leave this audience or anybody that watches the rebroadcast of this or clicks on the YouTube channel or the Facebook after the fact. And I want the scenario to be not necessarily even a brand new artist, but any artist that's going to a radio station and they've been trying to break through that radio station. And rightfully so, they've been listening to the feedback of that radio station and they've made those adjustments and they've done that thing, but they still can't get through that radio station. If you could leave them with one piece of advice, what would it be?
Don't neglect that radio station because one day it could be gone. Continue and be perseverant with your efforts. Maybe this song's not right. The next song might be. So it's always beneficial to keep that relationship positive. So, don't, like I mentioned earlier this evening, don't bombard them over and over again. Don't oversaturate that particular market. Think of it like a branding venture. You don't want to just keep hounding. Don't do that. There's always a possibility for the future because as every artist knows, they're always evolving. They're always changing and shifting things. They're learning new things and just keep that in mind. While this song may not be it, the next one very well may be. And when it is, make sure you support that station, man. Share things on social media. Be a part of those aspects that so many artists, I know you guys are busy. I absolutely understand it. But take those couple extra seconds and make comments, shares. If they're kind enough to do things like what Mark does for the Texas music scene and do video productions and things of that nature, support them because at some point you never know.
You never know who's in your audience. The Teague brothers were playing at Sam's on a Wednesday night about a month and a half ago. And I'm this older lady. There was literally maybe a dozen people in the whole place. And I look around, I'm like, okay, this will be interesting. Never heard of them before. They put on a show like they were selling out the Alamo Dome. And at the end of the day, I sent them, the reels that I do, and they reposted it, which was rad. And I don't do it for ego. I do it because it makes me feel good for them. And then I laughed and I said, I'll go to San Marcos tomorrow night if you guys will make your drummer wear that stupid hat he was wearing. And Mr. John Teague, he's like, deal, lady. So I showed up and I met the sweetest little bassist there who's hot as hell. Like, she good. And she and I became like mom and daughter things. We're both from Pacific Northwest. And then I went and saw her at another show. And then Mr. Teague is going to play with this band at Green Hall. So you never know. It may be 10 people in that whole building, but I was one of that 10. And where am I now, right? You never know.
You don't know. And that's a great lesson to end this on. You never know, even if it's a crowd of 1 or 1,000 you put on the same show.
You may have a Robin Lynn in there who's got a big mouth and a story to tell.
Well, it's not just that. You might have an executive record producer that just needed a night out and he wanted to go to some dive bar and listen to something. That wasn't crammed down his throat from a corporate label. And then he's like, man, this dude's really talented. He's writing real stuff. And he might say, hey, I'm so-and-so from XYZ label, and I really liked what you did tonight, and you really were engaging that crowd. And even though there's only 5 people there, those 5 people, you made probably $500 in tips. I watched it go down. And then you stayed afterwards, and you played for those 5 people and the 3 drunk people that showed up after for last call. And you did not waver. Your show was consistent and the same. And, hey, I'd like you to come visit with us.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've watched that shit happen.
Well, and Drew, who's on stage right now, can tell you that's exactly how that happens. So, yeah.
Well, I think actually Drew might, he's probably not on stage. He's probably enjoying a vodka drink.
I think
he already
with
played.
this lady right now because they
already over. Have we been on that long?
Even with this lady, we're going to tell stories about Drew now at Mark After Dark. Now we're on Mark After Dark hours. Uh-oh.
Keep going.
You came into the X-rated zone.
I have to put my lucky cross away because now we're going to go after dark.
That's right. Now it's time for you to start dancing.
All right. Angle the mic properly. Get some better lighting in there. Let's get this going.
All right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Keegan's like, move your shit, Sebby. I got to see this.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, we'll do the dancing thing another time, but I want to thank you for your time tonight, brother, and your insight, your wisdom. Thank you for being a mentor, somebody I can look up to in the industry, and somebody I can trust when I have a question. I appreciate you always being receptive and being there and providing feedback and being an awesome person in this industry. Thank you, brother. I love you for that.
That means the world to me. Thank you so much for that, and I hope I never drop the ball on any of that moving forward.
You won't.
Okay.
I have every bit of confidence, and that open invitation was sincere and honest, dude. If you ever want to get on anything I got going on, and you want to do a show, she's hungry. She don't have to eat. Here we go. We got Robin eating. She can't. She can be like, go back and look at your live. I ate on there. She had one bite.
It's good.
But we're going to get out of here, man, and I hope we can catch up again for another project. But if there's anything you want to do, if you can think of anything you can contribute to the community, that's what I'm doing is building a community here, dude. And I want you to be part of that, regardless of what you're doing. So anytime you want part of that, you let me know. I will find a spot for you on one of the stations, or it could be on Robin's station. It might be on another panel member station, but we will find an adequate spot for your content because your content's fucking awesome, dude.
Well, thank you.
With Made in Texas Radio.
I've heard that this week, just in the last couple of days, so it's got me thinking.
I don't want that to go away. That was great content. That needs to continue. So you have an open platform that you don't have to pay for to do it on.
Yeah, I'm going on a plane tomorrow, so I'm going to do some research. I'm going to be looking you up and reading all about
all you got to do is go to Made in Texas Radio on YouTube and go look up all of those, and you will see artists. Yes, you will see every artist that he's ever interviewed on there. It is a library that never dies. And it's great content.
Well, I guess it's kind of good I didn't do my research before I shut down.
Yeah.
I'm just talking to some guy on the screen. Nice to meet you, sir.
I I've had a blast with you guys tonight. Thank you so much for having me, Robin.
So
best of
what
luck in this new venture.
are you doing any shows right now that people can tune in and hear you, or are you all in the background?
No, I'm completely behind the scenes right now. So
All right.
no.
Well, when you figure it out and you let me know what you want to do, let me know and we'll get you a spot, dude, because they don't need to have you just doing all the programming and looking at all that stuff. You need to be live on air.
Hey, who's
it
that?
doesn't matter where it is.
Who was that?
I thought you left. I would never do that to you.
I thought you did.
How long do you know me, Nicole?
I mean, it was only $5.
Hi, Nicole.
He says hi.
The bartender thought I walked my tab.
Everybody
My
needs to know the bartender. Nicole, thank you for your work. Thank you.
Tell Nicole thank you. Nicole, say hi to everybody.
Everybody.
And I want to thank everybody for hanging out a little longer than planned. I appreciate that.
Yep. And we're gonna cut it. Hey, Keegan, man, thank you so much, brother. I love you, man. And we will. Hey, let's talk off air about getting you something going on. I would really like you to continue to do at some level whatever you can commit to, even if it's once a month, what you were doing before. I think that would be great for the industry, and I don't want to see that go away. That was something I always looked at before I even thought about doing this, and followed you and watched it. And then even when I got into this side of the industry, I continued to do that and support it because it's excellent content, dude, and you need to continue to do that. Don't let that die.
Are you going to ask him to do a concert one day?
I might ask him to marry me. Oh, wait, no, he's already married.
I'm like, dude, okay, he gets it. Like,
no, I know. You're
All right,
badass.
boys and girls listening and watching on YouTube, it's time for Robin to dance as we say goodnight for the evening.
Yeah.
No, it'll just be one little bump, 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 bump. We're done.
Hey, that's enough. All right, you got to start somewhere. Baby steps.
All right. Hey, we're getting out of here, y'all. Y'all say goodnight to Mr. Keegan. Keegan, thank you for your time, brother. And that is it. We will see you next Wednesday. I'm going to do a dry run of it's going to be called Songs and Sins, live from inside the bar. And Michael Shane from Texas Hill Country Outlaws is the host of the show. And we will have different guests that will come in and out. Chuck Weimer is scheduled for the 13th. He will be on. And Robin will be actually with me. She'll be back from her vacation. So that's the official start. Next week is a dry run. You just get my ass. So,
wait, where's she going on vacation?
Huh?
She gets to leave on vacation? This is like night one.
I haven't had vacation in 5 years, and she gets to go.
Me neither.
I know.
It must be nice to be the boss.
I want to go fishing with you, dude.
We'll make it happen. We'll figure something out. Right. I need to go
Love
fishing. I do.
Man. Hey, say goodnight to everybody.
Good night, guys. And y'all be sure and support the Texas music scene no matter where you are. Be sure you find the artists, like, share them across social media. Do all those things. It really does matter. And the only one stopping you is you.
That's it, baby. And we're out of here. We love y'all. We can't wait to see y'all again. Y'all say goodnight. And, hey, coming live from the Hideout, too. If you're in the Canyon Lake area, stop by the Hideout. Come see the girls. Come see Nicole. Come see Holly. Come see everybody. Come see Star. Eat some great food, have a good time, and hang out at a really cool laid-back bar that you can bring your own bottle to and buy setups. Isn't that cool? So you don't have to spend $12 a fucking drink. Yeah, and you get to see music and be live on air on radio stations, all kinds of cool stuff. We'll catch you next week, same time, same place, way beyond the music.